Good morning, I'm Sharaad Kuttan and welcome to BFM's Morning Headlines, where we look at the morning print newspapers and ask ourselves the question, how are they leading us and where they're leading us to? Are they leading us by the nose? The first newspaper I want to look at is the Malay Mail, and not just for this little story over here, which we'll come back to later, but this, the Mean Machine. Was it referred to? No, it's not BDSM, folks. It's about the police and how they have put together a new task force to tackle serious crime. Now, I'm not sure about you, but you see all these images, people being tackled to the ground, people propelling down walls. It gets worse. Berita Harian has this. It shows all the little bits of their equipment. Very, very impressive. But I thought modern policing work was all about intelligence. Yes, folks, getting information about criminal syndicates, following the paper trail, finding how money's moving, and so that you don't just get the small guy, but you get the big guys. That's something that seems to be lost on our policymakers. At any rate, so here, the Mean Machine, again, more machismo and not much brain muscle. Also on the front page is this story, and it's about the vehicle end of life. Now that's been on the social media, everybody's been bitching about it, but the government's come in and said that they're not going to go ahead with this. They're not going to force vehicle owners to pulp their cars at age 12. And so all's well that ends well. This is, I guess, a rude remark about how some people in this country from South Asia can't make a distinction between their V's and W's. Berita Harian also goes with its continued story on corrupt individuals in the immigration department who are in collusion with syndicates trying to bring in foreign workers. The Sinar Harian is the only newspaper that gives prominence to a very important political party in this country, PAS. Parti Islam Malaysia is the party in question. It's having its Muktamar this morning, but it's had other elections along the way. That Muktamar, of course, is the General Assembly. This story is about the ulama, or scholarly, the religious scholars, and their council, which is an important part of the way PAS is structured. They are insisting on one thing, and that every so often the party reviews its relationship to Pakatan Rakyat, not because they don't believe in it, but because they want to strengthen the position of the party vis-a-vis the other parties in the coalition. So that's the front page. In fact, you go in, you get more stories, some of them quite interesting. Now, I also want to bring up the newspaper, The Star. The Star's front page is all about how 1.7 million traffic offenders haven't paid up their fines. Now, is this equivalent to corruption and the thing that we all whinge about? So we don't like civil servants that steal money or mismanage things. But what about us? We're not paying our fines, apparently. So there it is, something to be ashamed of when it comes to the public. Speaking of public servants, civil servants, and the Auditor General's report, the New Straits Times has some maybe heartwarming figures. Now, there are 817 civil servants are under probe. The number plummets when it comes to 30. Obviously, probes that prove there was some problem. 30 have been issued show cause letters, and 7 face disciplinary action. So we see that movement in terms of the Auditor General's report. Again, you see how they played up the machismo and the paraphernalia and the machinery, the hardware of the police force, but not its software. Okay, drive on. Again, it's about that VEL story, the vehicle end of life story. And the Deputy Transport Minister has clarified that there's not going to be an imposition on a 12-year lifespan for cars. Harian Metro goes with a story there. It's kind of the word I didn't know before. It's Pelicit. Pelicit apparently means imp. And Pelicit Palestine is, in fact, a story about a Palestinian mother who claims her son is using the Palestinian cause to make a lot of money for himself. So there she is. Apparently, he discovered this and beat her up. So when it comes to charity, don't let your buttons be pushed. Do the due diligence on those organizations. Make sure you're giving it to the right people. All kinds of other stories. Harian Metro, again, a very pretty woman with a neck problem. You see, she's even holding it in her hand. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Utusan, again, why? Wrap your fish in this, folks. Anwar perlu berundo. This is a story about the leader of the federal opposition, how he should resign. allegations coming from the Pakatan Rakyat about illegal voters has now become a major story for those who are in the business of propagandizing against that coalition. And as a barometer of transparency in this country and good governance, a story on page 2 of The Sun I want to alert you to. There it is, shocking as it may be. But when MPs went to meet the Federal Territories Minister and the Mayor, who is not elected, to find out more about the proposed assessment rate hike and the KL city plan, they were met with this. The OSA, they were asked to sign an official secret act form, which is basically a kind of non-disclosure agreement. Why would you do that? They are public officials. They're meant to communicate to the public. When they get information in these meetings, they're supposed to take it out there. They're supposed to have press conferences and issue press statements. That's the point of good governance. Strangely, it's an attitude missing in the mayor's office and in some ministries in this country. So there you have it. That's all we have for you this morning. I'm Sharaad Kuttan. You've been watching BFM's Morning Headlines. BFM 89.9.